never seen something just change that rapidly as what we've seen occur this year. But I think the ag conditioner has definitely made a big difference here this year. And Jason Berry.
All right.
And so what we're looking at here is this Primark 45 variety. And what you see dead here is the floricanes. So that was the growth that occurred last year, and then they flowered in the spring, and we picked our normal harvest in May and June. All the new growth would be considered primocanes, primo meaning the first year canes. So all of the new growth has came from the ground since March, and they're flowering as well. Just as a trait of this particular variety, it has the ability to flower on the primocanes. However, it's never really been an option because we've always heard it's too hot in Georgia. There's no, you don't get the conditions to be able to grow a primocane crop. You can only grow the floricane crop. But what we're seeing this year is that the primocane growth has absolutely exploded and flowered, and we're picking it. So we're here in the middle of July, and we started picking about 10 days ago. And as you can see, it's continuing to flower. So it looks like it's going to be a perpetual crop here for the next couple of months if everything stays as it is now.
You've just not seen that before.
Right.
So the genetics were there.
We felt like the genetics were here, and again, we like this variety because it has great flavor, and we knew it made a good floricane crop, which is the spring crop.
Right.
And we knew it had potential for a primocane crop. But we never really expected to be able to do it here. The breeder himself, Dr. John Clark from the University of Arkansas, he was shocked to hear that we were harvesting fruit. And I sent him some pictures of
Excellent.
of the crop. And so he was very surprised that we had this summer crop on it. Because of South Georgia temperatures in the summer, he just felt like it was not a real possibility for us to harvest a primocane crop. But
man, that's great.
We're doing it, and I don't know of anyone else that's done it. There are some primocane growers in some other more mild regions that have had some success with it up in Northern California, but no one in the South has done it.
Is there anyone else in Georgia right now picking blackberries right now?
No, not at all. So the normal blackberry season ended about July 1st for Georgia. And there is one other grower I know of that's a large blackberry grower that has this variety, but he's had it for 8-9 years. I don't think he's ever picked a primocane crop. One difference, while we didn't see the real increase in yield in the spring crop, we did see an increase in quality. We were able to pick almost every berry, whereas the previous years we kind of gotten behind and get a little rain and then the crop goes downhill. This year we had those rains, but we were able to maintain enough quality that we continued picking. And the old canes really just started dying like about a week ago. So I would say that we had longer life in the old canes, as well as getting the new growth to be much more explosive than what we had previously seen. Just like this here. So this is one that's laid over and it's flowering on the end up there at the top.
Yep.
And then you've got these new shoots coming out, and these guys are shooting out at a rate of about 12 inches a week.
Yeah.
So it's really fast. And as you saw back in the spring when these guys were just coming out of the ground, they were just really vigorously growing a foot or more a week. And we've continued that pace of growth even with the fruit load on it. So normally when you get a fruit load on it, it kind of weakens some of the other growthy parts of the plant, but right now we're not seeing any inhibition of the new growth. I mean, you're seeing these guys starting to break. All this is going to break out, and like I said, we marked some last week that grew 12 to 16 inches in 7 days.
Wow.
So
that's fantastic.
The only downside is we're going to spend a little more labor to tie these guys up, but hey, we'll take it any day. This 10-acre field, it looks like we'll get an extra 50,000 pounds of fruit on the 10 acres.
Yeah.
So if we can get an extra 50,000 pounds on a 10-acre crop, then I'll take it every time. And like I said, it seems to be leading to more crop for next year as well, simultaneously. So we can pick this fruit and still have all this amazing growth. Normally we get way more growth in the fall. So normally from late August through September and even into October is when we get some of our best growth. And so, if that continues, we may have to, I don't know where we're going to put all the bush. This is one of the later canes that came from the ground in March. We have not even tipped the end. Normally you would tip it to make it branch out, but we've not tipped it. It's going ahead and flowering on the end. And you have all these new breaks coming.
Yep.
From the internode. So all the internodes basically are breaking.
Wow.
And normally you would come in and like tip the end of this thing, which would force more of the nodes to break, but we're seeing, like I said, it's just naturally doing that.
Yeah.
So that's a difference. Normally this thing would just grow out and be really long, and if you didn't tip it, it would barely branch out. It would just be one long cane. But even without tipping, we're seeing branching. This is basically, like I said, just bonus. It's like icing on the cake. See how the 4-cane crop does next year. I think we can really safely say that we've seen a monumental change. But the sugars in the leaves are pretty high. The nutrients did seem to be more balanced throughout the plant overall. But the only thing we've seen so far that has really jumped off of the scale and moved the needle in our eyes is the silica.
Yeah.
And so basically we've seen way more silica to the tune of 8 times more in the leaf than we've had previously. And everything else just seems a little more balanced, which I think is always good to have the balance. Last year we did have some problems with some iron uptake. We had to apply amino acid chelated iron to kind of keep up with the new growth. And this year again we don't see any iron deficiency at all. We've made some very small applications of a pound or 2 of chelated iron, which is very low, but everything has just maintained the growth, the good color. Sometimes in the past we may make a correction and you see a little change or you do a little tweak here and there with the nutrition program like we've done throughout the last decade. But we've never seen something just change that rapidly as what we've seen occur this year. Yep. And like I said, we're always tweaking little things, trying to get better. But I think the ag conditioner has definitely made a big difference here this year, and you can see it in this crop that we normally can't harvest. Yeah. So
we would not normally be here in July looking at berries. I was here last year. There weren't berries.
No, you might have saw 1 or 2 here and there. You might have walked by 10 bushes and picked 1 berry.
Yeah.
And I've got some pictures from last week where we started picking, and there were some shoots that had 50 berries on one shoot. So
it's amazing.
Yeah. So it's definitely different.
Yeah, I love it.
And I think the ag conditioner has done something. I don't quite understand how it works, but I can see it. Yeah, I can see it. So all of this growth that we see here, we'll again go through a winter, get the chill hours, and then it'll set a spring crop.
Perfect.
So all of this that we're picking now, we'll actually get to pick it again. So it's a bonus. It's basically 2 crops off of one plant.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.